Hello ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Ted. Welcome to the brand new isometric action RPG, Souls-like, No Rest for the Wicked. Now this game is brand new and early access on Steam. It was released just yesterday at the time of writing the script. It was developed by Moon Studios, the same studio that created the Ori games, which have an amazing art style even though I've never played them personally, though I do remember their release for, again, that amazing artwork, the colorful worlds, and the beautiful animations they had. That is replicated to some degree here, to mixed results. It was published by Private Division, which is a branch of Take-Two Interactive. Now, for full disclosure, I did not receive a code for this game. I purchased it with my own money, so all opinions expressed here are my own and always will be, even if I am given a key for a game. So with all that in mind, this game is very much in early access, as it was released, again, yesterday at the time of writing, so it has a long way to go, but hey, that's what early access is for. I do know that there have been some patches or balance changes in quite literally the first 24 hours. I have not played the game since those came out, so I do not know how they have affected the commentary I'm going to make. I will be making a separate video though once I have completed, the early access content. I really want to see if they can take proper advantage of the early access state, because that's what it's there for. It's there to get community feedback and improve upon the game that you're trying to throw out into the world. So it seems like they're going to do that, at least in the beginning. We'll see if that continues. At the time of this recording, I have 10 minutes short of 2 hours in the game, so about, an hour 50, and I will fully admit that 2 hours is not enough time to get to grips with the game like this one. With that in mind, again, I'll be making that follow-up video whenever I finish the content. According to some websites, it's about 5-ish hours, but I'll let you know when I get there. Now, the story of this game is pretty simple. A pestilence is ravaging a small island, and the newly crowned king mourns not only the passing of his father, but tries to figure out how to deal with this pestilence. So he orders the Inquisition to cleanse the island of this disease, and of course, no one expects I'm not even sure what the island's called, Inquisition. Now, you play as a Serum, some sort of mythical warrior people, because the characters are always referring to you as Serum or, quote, your people. Now, I don't know what makes them so powerful, but you are revered, and people of the island are hoping you can fix everything. You fight against bandits, monsters, and I would imagine soon, the Inquisition itself. To do this, you work out of the last bastion for the people of the island, and try to find the heart of the pestilence to tear it out. That is as far as I got during the tutorial, so hey, let's jump into gameplay. As I mentioned before, the combat gameplay is kind of like Diablo meets Dark Souls. I know this is a comparison and title that will be used way too often when describing this game, but hey, if the boot fits. The basics are that you have a stamina management system. You can dodge roll, block, or parry attacks as long as you have a shield, and do light or heavy attacks with your weapons against a variety of opponents. In addition to this, each weapon has their own special attacks similar to the weapon arts or Ashes of War from Souls games. It even offers magic if the player finds a staff. Each staff comes with one or more spells that will cost focus to cast. Your focus builds as you fight, but this can be difficult as combat can be very challenging and not always for the right reason. So the art style is almost a hindrance sometimes, as it can make reading attacks and timing a little difficult because some of the attacks have delayed timings and the tells just sometimes feel way too fast to deal with. You can dodge, block, or parry the attacks, but the problem comes with finding the right timing and ensuring you have the stamina to do so. You already start out with a pitiful stamina bar, and this is not helped by the limited weight threshold, which means you can equip minimal amounts of gear, especially if you want to use a shield. This leads to both options feeling difficult because you either roll and have no stamina for the follow-up attack, or you block the first attack and run out of stamina for the enemy to follow up, or you try to parry and half the time miss the window, leaving you open to get hit. Now, I will admit, this is my biggest gripe with the game so far, and this is the area that I feel they can improve on the most. I have not had the same kind of technical issues or crashes that many other people have been reporting on. Now, I will fully admit I have a very beefy PC that I built a few months ago, so that may be the cause for my, lack of issue. But I don't know if this is a system requirement thing or what's going on with why so many other people are having issues, graphically and loading and everything like that, or crashing, and then I have not. For full disclosure, I believe I have a 4060, which is very expensive, but I'm very happy I have it for cases like this. Now, it's interesting. Normally, one has a shield and heavier armor to increase their poise against an enemy, or, grab a big weapon to destroy the enemy's posture, but sadly, these mechanics are in the game and are not balanced in the player's favor. The enemies all seem to have incredible amounts of hyper armor when they're attacking, but you're staggered by the slightest breeze, leaving you open to lots of hits. I tried this with both one-handed and two-handed weapons with a minimal difference to them. The enemies do have a stagger meter, but I've never once filled the bar before killing them. As far as I can understand, the bar does fill faster with, say, ranged weapons like a bow, because you're just more vulnerable from a defense perspective, but I have not tried that out at the time of this recording, and it didn't feel good in melee. The only real way to stop their onslaught, it seems that I've found, is to parry them, and even that can be unreliable because the window will open and close in seemingly the blink of an eye. But I will admit, outside of my prime Sekiro days, I have always been bad with parrying. I don't know if there's a way to increase the parry window, as all of the shields have been round shields and the stat system is not well explained. I have seen this as another common complaint where just the parry window does not feel that good, so looking at other reviews, watching other videos, I don't feel like this will be an uncommon complaint. Now, all of your stats start at 10 because there is no class system, and for each level, you gain 3 stat points for you to allocate as you see fit. This is very much one of those games where your class, quote unquote, is dictated by your gear and what skills you decide to put up. I understand wanting to give the player that freedom to choose their playstyle from the beginning, but the start of the game suffers so much because it is so hard to do almost anything when your stats are this low. They are broken down very similarly to, say, Elden Ring, health, stamina, strength, dexterity, magic, focus / mana, and carry weight. Yes, they pulled a Dark Souls 2 and separated carry weight from either health or stamina, which just means another stat to invest heavily in. For now, the game feels like it either doesn't give you enough stats, or those stats don't have a large enough impact for the few points you're given. I only leveled twice in the 2 hours I was playing, and the boss did get me most of the way to my 3rd level up, but did not finish it entirely. Interestingly enough, only combat gives XP and not quest, so if you do a main or side quest, I have not seen an XP reward from those yet, only combat, which likely means you'll be killed again and again and again. So with that being said, let's talk about death and how the penalty's a little different this time around. Death in this game sends you to the last Serum Whisper, which is kind of like a bonfire that you've encountered. These act as respawn points, and though you don't lose currency or XP, all of your equipment goes down in terms of its condition. Now, it goes down by a fair amount, but does not affect how it works until the value hits 0. At this point, you can't equip it anymore, meaning you have to get them repaired before they break. Now, before you beat the tutorial boss, these repairs are free, but after you beat it, it starts to cost money. I would imagine to an increasing degree based on how far into the story you are. I understand they did want death to have a penalty, but I think they should have gone with the, usual drop some money for your death run system, because as it stands, you're still losing money for repairs, but there's no system to recoup or regain them. Now, there are 2 ways this game differs outside of, death mechanics from traditional Souls formula. The first is that you cannot level up with the Whispers. When you get past the tutorial, you can fast travel and revive with them, but that's about it. The other, and arguably more important difference, is that you can make food for various bonuses, as these act as your only healing that I've seen. Now, you need to make complex dishes with different ingredients, the cooking fire, which you will have to purchase and learn recipes for in order to craft better dishes. The more complex the dish, the more health and likely better benefits it will have. This is an instant heal, but the problem comes from the fact there's a lengthy cooldown between every meal that lasts almost or more than 10 seconds. This often meant I was in a weird spot where if I healed at the wrong time, I would take massive damage just after healing, but not be able to do anything about it because there was the cooldown, and then I would die again as a result. Now, if you are eating like a single ingredient, there is no cooldown, but it heals a significantly smaller amount of health, kind of like a life gem versus an Estus flask, again from Dark Souls 2, but just having that cooldown did not feel great. Speaking of death, facing off against more than one opponent at a time feels absolutely terrible. Not just because of the difficulty, but because of the hyper armor. That means you're suffering an absolute onslaught that you can't respond to accordingly. Now, I am fine with difficult games. I am not fine with a game that does not let you get through a situation with your own skills and makes you feel absolutely helpless. Combat is not the only thing you'll be doing in the game. Outside of that, you'll be exploring a vast open world for various items to help you fight and explore better. Surprisingly enough, you also have tools such as an axe, pickaxe, fishing rod, and a shovel, so you can interact with different things in the environment. These will also give you resources that will help you craft and upgrade new gear, as well as furniture or fixtures for your home base that you'll be staying in. Sacrament. I have not yet explored these aspects, but I will be sure to do so in the follow-up. Apparently, even the vendors can be upgraded to sell better things such as materials and other usable items. Now, the exploration of the map can be really annoying because it is super easy to simply roll off or run off an edge, and you take massive amounts of fall damage that you then have to heal off with food. You do not regenerate health on your own. The areas are also not the most readable because of the way they're drawn. It is difficult to tell what you can and cannot walk on, or when something is hiding a secret. Now, surprisingly enough, you can swim in the vast waters, but because of your limited health pool, you're gonna drown pretty quickly. Now, I will mention a few miscellaneous things and, kind of wrap this. First of all, the keys are not rebindable. Now, this does work well for controller, and I don't mind using what they have given, but I understand this is a much bigger issue for some, say John, for example. The game works on a realm system, meaning you can have multiple characters in the same realm share gear between them, which is nice, but means you have to select a specific realm and stick with it. I don't know if the realm or world seed changes a whole lot of anything, but we'll find out later. The character models look fine from a distance. When you're making your own and you get an up close, they're weirdly disproportionate and kind of like Popeye the Sailor in terms of just how big their arms are in comparison to their bodies and especially their head. I believe this game honestly has an enormous amount of potential because in spite of everything I just talked about, in spite of everything that I didn't like about the game, I think with a little bit of tweaking, it can feel awesome. I absolutely believe there's a great amount of potential here, and I will be sure to follow up not only when I finish the available parts of Early Access, as kind of that grows and grows and grows, but when the game finally releases, I would love to see what we do with it. I would love to see how it feels at the end of this journey. I really feel like if the devs continue to work on this game and listen to community feedback, this could be an amazing game to go down as a great mix of Diablo and Souls-like formula. I don't feel like it justifies the almost $50 Canadian price tag at the moment. We will see how that improves over the course of the early access period. Now, yes, I did just mention it is almost $50 Canadian or your regional equivalent. I believe that price will go up. Launches at full, 1.0, but I don't know what that price would be until it gets. Now, I do not buy a whole lot of early access games. If I do, it is, something like Soulstone Survivors or something really small that I'm not expecting a lot out of. So I may be the kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, hasn't been burned state of mind around early access and how much the devs are going to put into it. But when I look at other early access projects like the Slorman, or I can't even remember some others that I've purchased in early access where the devs have really cared and really improved the game, I have to hope that the same thing will happen here. I have to hope the devs are going to do well by their community and they're going to listen to the feedback. If they do, this game has so much potential and I want it to get there so bad. But if they don't, this game will absolutely flounder. A really, really sad waste of a lot of their time and a lot of people's money and hope. So with all that being said, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for sticking around, listen to me ramble. I'm sure this is not the first video you've seen on this game from, any channel. Hopefully it's not the first one you've watched. By all means, go and get other opinions on the game before making a purchase decision for yourself. And hey, if you played the game or if you're interested in playing it, let me know down in the comments. Maybe we'll make an extra video, kind of as it progresses in early access to see if it eventually becomes worth that price tag. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Have a good night. See you later. Bye-bye!